Nameco here, Grumpy Dustin to the right of me. Should have heard the combo we just had. This guy, we need to cheer him up. But I don't know how we're going to do that because we're going to talk about grumpy things. We're going to talk about bust/overvalue. So let me be very clear.
Very clear.
Very clear. These guys, there's a point in the draft where we will take them on all of our teams probably. But based on their ADP, we just feel they're going a little bit too high. So that's all it is. It doesn't mean they're going to be terrible, that they're going to score 2 points a game. There's some names on here, big names. So just note that's the way that we look at it. Bust/overvalue, really based on where they're going in drafts.
So thank you to our sponsor, ProjectorPeople.com. They're a certified dealer. They offer lifetime tech support. And check them out. They know projectors. It's what they do. If you're trying to set up a home theater or an outdoor theater, which are a lot of fun, check them out. Who wouldn't want to watch a game on a 150-inch HD projector? Anyone who's been to one of your buddy's house that has one, it's pretty amazing. So check out ProjectorPeople.com.
All right, first bust I want to talk about is Ricky Rubio. So Ricky Rubio is on the Utah Jazz now. And the thing about Rubio last year, he was almost a double-double with assists and points, 11 points, 9 assists, which is solid, but the surrounding cast that he has around him isn't going to be nearly as good, so those assist totals might go down. And the thing that really kills me about him is he shoots about 40%. So out of a guy that's not going to score a ton of points, shooting that low for you out of your point guard spot in something it's so deep in point guard in the NBA, I just don't love the fact you got to take him around pick 50. I'd much rather have a guy like Schroeder, who you can take, who was on our sleeper list, who you could take at around the same pick.
So the first guy I want to talk about, one of the things when you're looking at who to put on this list, it's just what's the overall upside. And even though it might be there, are they ever going to be anything more than a role player? Noel for Dallas. At this point, I think he's an 8-8 guy. I just don't know if he'll ever play enough minutes. I don't know if he's ever going to get to be a double guy. The potential's there, but do I ever see him breaking out and being an amazing guy? Not really. And when you're looking at around the 100th pick with all these young guys that could potentially be, second, third round picks next year, I would rather take a gamble on one of those guys than just a guy that I think is stuck in a role player role.
Joe Ingles on the Jazz, the next guy I'm talking about, and he had some flashes last year where he was like leading the league in three-point percentage. And the thing that makes us a little bit nervous about him is he going to get overdrafted because Gordon's gone, right? Oh, Hayward's gone. He's going to move into the starting lineup, get a ton of minutes. He's going to be great. He ain't nearly that talented, so just beware. Now, the thing that we do like about him in deeper leagues is the fact that he should get some burn and he should get a lot of minutes, but we believe that that's going to be a guy in the middle rounds. Somebody's going to be looking for three-point help and potentially overdraft him. So we're just saying be cautious with him, that's all. He is definitely a guy that I could see on my team, I just don't like him where he could potentially be going in those middle rounds.
Seth Curry is next. Obviously, he's got the name recognition, and he did play really well last year when he got minutes, but that's the fear that we have with him is will he get the consistent minutes? And the way that the Mavericks team's laid out right now, we don't think he will. Now, will that change during the course of the year? Maybe if someone gets hurt or something like that, but he's going right around the 115th pick or so, which isn't terrible, but again, at that point in the draft, we just feel like there's other guys that have more clear path to minutes that have just as big of upsides. So we're just not really loving Curry's situation right now. But we like him as a player. If he gets the minutes, he could definitely play well. But we're just not sold he's going to get the minutes.
Pains me to talk about the next guy. But that's Otto Porter of my bullets. He's solid. I get it, right? But sometimes when people get paid the max and we could show a whole other video why they had to pay him the max. It just made a lot of sense for them. But sometimes when people get the max, they get overdrafted. And I've seen him pre-ranked on some sites ahead of his own teammate Bradley Beal, which is insane to me. Otto is solid. I get it, right? He gets open shots because John Wall is just a beast and he's amazing. But we're not talking about John. So the thing about Otto, though, last year, 13.4 points, 6.4 rebounds. He gets, an assist and a half. Could get you some steals, some blocks. So he does a lot of things. But I've seen him go as high as pick 30, which is insane to me. He is a role player. I know he is a max player, but he is a role player, so he needs to be drafted accordingly. He's a great steal in the middle rounds, but in your first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds even, you should not be considering Otto because I do not think his numbers are going to improve dramatically over last year by any means.
Reggie Jackson's the next guy I want to talk about. out there with Detroit, going around the 110th pick or so. And, you look at his stats last year, they're not terrible. Over 14 points a game, over 5 assists a game. But here's the deal. He had a hard time just fending off Ish Smith last year for minutes, and he's a little bit banged up right now. Like, it just, again, at that point in the draft, again, you're just looking at what's the ceiling, what's the overall upside. I always like to look at trade value. Even if Jackson's playing pretty decent, is he really going to have that much trade value compared to, like, a Murray for Denver if he gets off to an amazing start? Like, I just don't get that excited about Reggie Jackson in general around the 110th pick. I'm looking elsewhere.
TJ Warren is the next guy I want to talk about. And I know he's not going really early in many drafts, but the person in your league that owned TJ Warren last year is going to overdraft TJ Warren this year. Definitely. He had a huge start to the season. He was supposed to be in a position battle, but he ran away with that. He had a very good year. But TJ Warren's going to have some issues this year fending off Josh Jackson for minutes. There's a few other players on that young team that he's going to have some issues fending off, and he's never going to be a superstar. So eventually I think Jackson's going to take a lot more of that role from him. And to Dustin's point, you got to think of what the ceiling is, what the upside is. His ceiling, I don't even believe, is what he did last year. His ceiling's probably, instead of 14 points, 12 points, instead of 5 rebounds, like 3.5. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about TJ Warren this year. And if you're the one that drafted him, I know he was great for you last year, but he's not going to be great for you this year. Be careful.
The next one pains me a little bit, and that's Dario for the 76ers. Big fan of him. I had him in my league last year, right before he started breaking out, and he finished last year. I mean, he was solid. He definitely helped a lot of teams, make the playoffs and go on to championships. But he has one very big problem for this season, and that's Ben Simmons. And it's going to be hard for him to play nearly the same amount of minutes, and it's just because of that, you just got to be careful. And he's going around the 65th pick, which, there's a lot of big names that are available around that time, and for a guy with question marks around minutes, that's not who I want at that point in the draft.
Last guy I want to talk about is a bust for deeper leagues. So this is the kind of guy that's like, he's not even being drafted in my league. And I get it, if you're in a shallow league, Josh Richardson's probably not being drafted. But we play in a lot of leagues that are very deep, where you're starting multiple guards, multiple utility spots, multiple everything. So every starter is typically gobbled up as a bare minimum. And Josh Richardson is probably going to be the starting 2 guard for the Miami Heat. And I don't understand the infatuation some people have with Richardson, to think that there is this high ceiling, that he could still break out, that he could still all do these great things. I mean, the guy shot below 40%. He is a shooting guard. I hate when a shooting guard shoots below 40%. And so sometimes whenever you're in a deeper league, you're trying to fill up your roster with elite starters, this is the type of starter where I'm okay taking a backup on another team that's going to get plenty of run instead of him. I just don't think the upside's high for him, and he's going to have some issues, because there's some, Wade is still there. There's some other people that are still solid out there.
Dwayne Wade's the guy I'm going to talk about
How
next.
dare you?
How dare you? New home with Cleveland.
Dwayne Wade.
I mean, here's the thing. When everyone's healthy out there, they are not going to ask him to do much. And why did they bring over Wade? To help get them a championship. So they're not going to, run them 35 minutes a game, going into the, trying to get into the playoffs. Of course they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to save them. If you draft him, even with all the days off, I think a maximum amount of games he plays is I don't know, high 60s. I mean, they're going to be resting him a decent amount, try to keep him healthy, and he probably still won't even stay healthy. He's going around the 70th pick. I just think there's so many more younger, more fun players that could play 82 games that'll be there at that point in the draft. I don't see Dwayne Wade being on my team this year.
And the Cavs are deep. Cavs seems kind of interesting. When I look at it.
Everyone's healthy. They're not going to need him to do a ton. So
Dwayne Wade, LeBron James.
We don't hate all these people. We think some of them will have some good years. So keep that in mind. So check out all our other tiers and rankings, our sleepers, deep sleepers. Get on the website for our most updated rankings, and good luck in your drafts.
Dwayne Wade.
Subscribe to our channel. Leave
LeBron
some comments.
James.
Leave some comments. Leave some comments.